Ireland. This tiny island located in northwest Europe has quite an active and distinct culture that's unlike the rest of the world. You may have experienced at least some Irish culture in an Irish-themed pub or on St. Patrick's Day, but to be completely honest, that's merely scratching the surface of what Irish culture really is, and it's no wonder why a lot of people want to visit here. That, along with the fact that millions of people throughout the world can trace their ancestry back to Ireland, and its gorgeous scenic nature and historic civilizations that date back many centuries, are among the many reasons why people want to visit Ireland. You may have clicked on this video wanting to visit Ireland yourself and may be confused as to where exactly in Ireland you want to go to. And I can understand your uncertainty, as Ireland has a lot of good places to visit. And so with this video today, I'm going to help you with that by listing the top 10 cities and towns to visit in Ireland. Now before we get started with this video, I just want to let you know that this is not a list ranking worst to best. All 10 cities listed here are good places to visit. They're just listed in a combination of my personal take and what tourism statistics show. You can form your own list in your own head of what are the best places to visit in Ireland, but this list will give you at least 10 ideas to start looking for them, and I'm sure these 10 ideas will turn into hundreds as you find more places. Also, this video will only be focusing on the cities and towns in the Republic of Ireland, so cities like Belfast will not be included as they are part of Northern Ireland, which is governed by the United Kingdom. Alright, now let's get started. Number 10. Killarney. Killarney is a town in County Kerry located in the province of Munster in the southwestern part of Ireland. It has a population of about 15,000 people. This town draws in tourists from all over the world for its lush green mountains, beautiful lakes, and as well as the history and significance in the region. This is a small town that thrives on tourism and as a result can get quite crowded during peak tourist seasons. And who can blame them? There's a lot to explore in Killarney. Killarney is home to many historic sites and ruins, like Muckross Abbey that is steeped in the history of the Catholic Church as well as Ireland's violent aspects of its past. If you're a big nature person, Killarney has tons of nature for you to explore. There are tours you can take at Killarney National Park where you can witness the nature and wildlife of Southwest Ireland, while also witnessing various historic sites that have been preserved in the park. And if you're into lakes, Killarney has 3, Muckross Lake, Upper Lake, and the Loch Lean, the largest of the 3. Killarney has a lot to offer people who are interested in a more quaint side of Irish culture, which is a big reason why I put Killarney on this list. If you're into the more quiet side of Ireland, I would look more into the Killarney vicinity. Number 9. Wicklow. Wicklow is a city located in the Leinster province in County Wicklow, out towards the southeast part of Ireland. It has a population of about 11,000 people, a bit smaller than Killarney and also a bit closer to Dublin. There's a lot to do in Wicklow. If you're really into history, Wicklow and its vicinity has a lot of historic places and ruins you can visit, like Black Castle. If you're into gardens, Wicklow has Mount Usher Gardens, which is filled with spectacular displays of nature on its riverside. There's also a lot of shops and cafes within the city of Wicklow if you're into shopping and tea and coffee, or cocoa for those who don't drink caffeine. And it's also just a half-hour drive from Glendalough. Speaking of which. Number 8. Glendalough. Known as the Valley of the Two Lakes, Glendalough has a lot of history as well as a grand natural scenery and an abundance of wildlife. With a population of about 2,500 people, this small village in County Wicklow offers a lot for tourists, especially those who want to explore the nature of Ireland. Glendalough has Wicklow Mountains National Park, one of 6 national parks in Ireland. Not only does it have beautiful mountains, it also has many roads you can take scenic drives on, as well as many trails you can hike on. They even have trails you can go hill walking on in remote locations, although experience is required to go hill walking on these trails. There's also freshwater lakes you can explore nearby. There's also a lot of historic places and ruins you can explore in the area, like Glendalough Cathedral. It's a good place to visit if you're into exploring the nature of Ireland, though I should let you know that there are only a few hotels within the Glendalough village. So unless you're wanting to stay in a hotel in another village nearby, I recommend you plan ahead if you want to go to Glendalough. Number 7. Westport. Westport is a town located in the Connacht province in County Mayo towards the northwest part of Ireland. It has a population of about 6,000 people. Even though it's a small town far away from most major cities in Ireland, it still has a lot to offer for tourists. If you're interested in seeing what small town life in Ireland looks like, while you have many options as Ireland is a pretty rural country, I highly recommend Westport. Westport, like many other towns in Ireland, has a lot of historic places and ruins to visit, like the Westport House, which has been standing in Westport for over 300 years and is a great place to visit to learn more about the history of Westport. There's also a lot of activities you can do in Westport, especially for families. One place in Westport that is good for family fun is the Pirate Adventure Park, which has a lot of activities to do, such as archery lessons, zip lining, a log ride, and even a mini Ferris wheel. And if you like playing golf, Westport has the Westport Golf Club, where you can play an actual golf game in a very wide open space, and not just mini golf. Westport also has a lovely town square you can visit with many local shops to go to. Westport is just a lovely place to go to get away from it all, and honestly, this town intrigues me. I'll definitely be adding this to my travel bucket list. Number 6. Dingle. Dingle is located in the Munster province in County Kerry. It has a population of about 2,000 people. So why is it so popular with tourists? Well, Dingle is one of the last remaining civilizations where the Gaelic Irish culture and language is still very well preserved and protected. While all the signs they have there are written in English, you'll find that many people who live here speak the Irish language and pride themselves in being able to do so. So I would learn a little bit of Irish before coming here. It also has some amazing scenic roads you can drive on. Dingle has amazing views of nature from these roads, and an amazing view of the Atlantic Ocean from its coastline. It also has a very vibrant pub culture, which some call it, quote, the best you can find in County Kerry. There's also a lot of historic sites you can visit in the area, as well as many ruins, such as the many abandoned stone huts that were used by monks who once lived in this part of Ireland. And if you're a fan of the Star Wars franchise, many scenes of the 2016 film Star Wars The Last Jedi were filmed just a few miles outside of Dingle. It's a very small village with a lot to do and a lot to explore. Number 5. Kilkenny. Kilkenny is a city located in the Leinster province in County Kilkenny towards the southeast part of Ireland. It has a population of about 27,000 people. Kilkenny is one of the larger rural towns on this list, and it does have a lot to offer tourists who choose to visit, mostly if you're a history buff. There's a lot of history to explore in Kilkenny, such as Kilkenny Castle, which was founded shortly after the Norman conquest of Ireland in 1169. There is also museums you can explore here too, like the Medieval Mile Museum, which was built on the 13th century site of St. Mary's Cruciform Church and Graveyard. Much to do in Kilkenny has to do with touring historic sites, ruins, and museums, and the city of Kilkenny makes a lot of their money from tourists who visit these places. But these places are worth to check out, and you could go back home with a lot more knowledge from these places. Number 4. Galway. Galway is a city located in the province of Connacht in County Galway towards the west of Ireland. It has a population of about 80,000 people. This city is actually quite popular with international tourists visiting Ireland, and looking at its vibrant culture, it's no wonder why people are flocking to Galway. It's widely known as a very picturesque city in Ireland, as well as having a beautiful coastline, as it is located right on Ireland's West Atlantic coast. While the city itself is gorgeous, there's also a lot for tourists to do here. Like if you're into nature, Galway has a national park nearby, Connemara National Park, where it has stunning views of mountains and hills, as well as an abundance of wildlife and a very picturesque coastline. There's also historic sites and ruins you can visit in this park, like Calmore Abbey. And if you want to venture a little bit outside of the city, Ireland's famous Cliffs of Moher are close by, if you want to give that a look. It's actually an hour-and-a-half drive away from the Galway city center, so it'll be a long drive, but trust me, it's worth it. I mean, the Cliffs of Moher look amazing. And there's a lot to do within the city of Galway as well. If you're into cathedrals, Galway has Galway Cathedral, which isn't as historic as other cathedrals built in Ireland. It was built in 1965, but it does have a lot of importance in Galway culture. Galway also has a Latin Quarter, where it is filled with foreign cuisines you can try. There's also lots of shopping centers and restaurants to eat at as well, like the Galway Shopping Center. There's just so much to do in Galway, I could make a separate video about the things to do there. It's an amazing city, and I definitely have that city on my bucket list, and I recommend you put it on yours too. Number 3. Limerick. Limerick is a city located in the province of Munster in County Limerick towards the southwest part of Ireland. It has a population of about 94,000 people. While being a bigger city than Galway, its tourism involves a lot of outdoor activity. Limerick has tons of nature to explore within its vicinity, and it's quite gorgeous nature, may I say. One of Limerick's most popular outdoor attractions is a Ballyoura mountain bike trail, where it has 98 kilometers of biking trails surrounded by hills, mountains, woodlands, and green pastures that you can go mountain biking on. Limerick also has the River Shannon running through it, which pictures of the city via River Shannon can make it very picturesque and can make a good photo for Instagram. If you're a history buff, there's a lot of history to explore in Limerick. There's tons of historic places you can look at in Limerick, such as King John's Castle, a stunning piece of 13th century architecture. Limerick is also very popular with sports fans. If you're a fan of football, and not the American kind, Limerick has a lot to offer with that, and as well as rugby. Thomond Park Stadium is where some of the most attended rugby games are played, as well as being home to Munster Rugby, which represents the whole province of Munster. There's also a lot of culture to explore in Limerick. The pub culture is very vibrant in this city, and people in Limerick make a big deal about parties and festivals. Speaking of festivals, Limerick holds many big festivals every year, such as Limerick's St. Patrick's Day Festival, which brings performers and marching bands to the streets of Limerick every March, as well as Limerick's favorite festival, Riverfest, in May, which is a popular bank holiday here. There's just so much to do in Limerick, and it's no wonder it's number 3 on this list. Number 2. Cork. Cork is a city located in the province of Munster in County Cork, towards the south of Ireland. It has a metro population of about 300,000 people. It's a pretty large city in Ireland, the second largest city in Ireland to be exact. If the name Cork made you think of alcoholic drinks, and you're now thinking that Cork has a very vibrant pub culture, you'd be correct, as the popular opinion is that Cork has the most vibrant pub culture in all of Ireland. Cork is also known for its fabulous cafes, and coffee is very popular over there, as well as being widely considered to have the best coffee in the entire country. Cork also has a lot of history, and it wasn't always called Cork. Back in the early 20th century, it was known as Queenstown before they changed it to Cork. Cork used to also be a walled-in city, and you can still find small sections of these walls still standing in Cork today. It's actually widely believed that much of the walls and defensive towers were either demolished or left abandoned due to decay after suffering extreme damage from the 1690 siege of Cork. And that's all just scratching the surface of the history of Cork. If you like stargazing, Cork has the Black Rock Observatory, where many people actually go to look closer at the stars at night. There's just a lot to do in Cork, and its cultural significance to Ireland, as well as its many activities to do and its fascinating history is why it's number 2 on this list. Alright, before we get to number 1, be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and ring the bell to be notified whenever I post a new video. If you're on your phone, be sure you have your notifications turned on so you don't miss out on notifications. Alright, on to number 1. Number 1, Dublin. I know, it's pretty obvious to many of you what number 1 was, but can you really blame me? I mean, Dublin is a very nice place to visit in Ireland, and it's the heart of Irish culture. With a metro population of about 1.4 million people, it's the largest and most populous city in Ireland, and it's no wonder all of these people live here. There's a lot to do here. It's a very picturesque city, as well as it being the center of pretty much all of Irish history and culture, not to mention it being the capital of the Republic of Ireland. This will come as no surprise to anyone, but Dublin has a lot of pubs and bars you can hang out and party at. One of Dublin's most famous bars is actually the Temple Bar, located on Essex and Parliament. There's also a lot of shops and restaurants you can visit as well, if you're into shopping and eating out. There's especially a number of shops and restaurants located on Grafton Street, so be on the lookout for that if you're interested. There's so much to do in Dublin, I could make a whole separate video about it. It's a very gorgeous city and a very important one in Ireland, hence why it's number 1 on this list. And that is it for the top 10 cities and towns to visit in Ireland. Do you agree with these picks? Let me know in the comments below. Was there a city, town, or village in Ireland I missed? Let me know in the comments below. And also just comment anyway. I love hearing back from you guys on these videos. And be sure to give this video a like as it could help with YouTube's algorithm. And be sure to subscribe to this channel and ring the bell to be notified whenever I post a new video. And if you're on your phone, be sure you have notifications turned on so you don't miss out on new videos. This is Cameron, and thanks for watching.